board meeting. We start with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the accounts payable warrant. Fiscal year 2020 warrant number 21. Amount of $415,777.39.
I will move that we pay fiscal year AP warrant number 21 in the amount of $415,777.39.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay fiscal year 25 AP warrant number 21, the amount of $415,777.39. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is payroll journal number 359, the amount of $12,493.50.
I will move, excuse me, I will move that we pay payroll journal number 359 in the amount of $12,493.50.
I second.
Been moved and seconded to pay payroll journal number 359, the amount of $12,493.50. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is minutes of the previous meeting. This is minutes of March 10th, 2025.
I will move that we accept the minutes of March 10th regular meeting as provided.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of the March 10th, 2025 regular meeting, which were expertly provided by Kathy Hogue. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment on a non-agenda item. This is an opportunity for any resident of the town of Pownell to step forward that's not on the agenda and be heard by the select board. Is there anybody out there? Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is department head reports. Department head reports can be viewed on the respective website pages. Click on the department and there is the report. Select board have any questions for department heads that are present at this time? Joe O'Brien?
I have none.
Ms. Day?
I have none.
Neither do I. Does the select board have anything to report?
Nothing at this time.
Nor do I. Next item on the agenda is new business. Select board, we want to,
So if you want, we can just actually go article by article, and then you can do your recommendations as we get to each of the articles. So we could jump down to the annual town meeting draft warrant, and that would cover those first two items as we go through.
meaning the amendments to the ordinances.
All of it. Usually you go article by article and motion them on.
They'll be first.
Yep.
Good, all right. So new business is select board budget recommendations. We'll do that via annual town meeting draft form.
Correct.
Thank you. A little bit of parliamentary procedure here. All right, let's move on to that.
Copy of the warrant.
What's that?
I guess I don't have a copy of the
So
warrant.
the warrant is in your packet here. I will read it and off we go. To Kathleen Hogue, resident of the town of Pownell, Cumberland County, state of Maine. Greetings. In the name of the state of Maine, you are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of the Pownell in said county and state qualified by law to vote in town affairs. To assemble at Mallet Hall, 429 Howell Road, Pownell, Maine, on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 at 7:45 then and there to act upon Article 1 through Article 4 of this warrant by secret ballot. Polls will be open between 8 and 8. And to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Pownell qualified by law to vote in town affairs to assemble at Pownell Elementary School, 587 Elmwood Road, Pownell, Maine. Alternate location Mallet Hall, 429 Hallowell Road, Pownell, Maine. Thank you, Becky. On Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. to act upon the remaining Article 5 through 37 as set forth in this warrant. Article 1, choose moderator to preside at said meeting. Article 2, to elect by secret ballot the following officers: 1 select board assessor for a 3-year term, one cemetery commissioner for a 3-year term, one RSU 5 board of directors for a 3-year term. Article 3, shall the municipality authorize the state to permit the sale of liquors for off-premises consumption on days other than Sunday? Secret ballot.
That is a citizen's petition.
Will there be any exhibits for that?
I don't have anything.
Okay, we're not, the onus.
This is all citizens petition, yeah.
The onus is not on us to provide that, but we should be ready to present what this actually says, that that the town will come out from underneath the rock of a dry town and allow liquor for sale for off premises consumption. I don't know if we're gonna have to get a little bit more detail that, so that the store can sell.
We could revert them to the state site, you know, what this really means.
So any questions about Article 4 or Article 1, 2? I just kind of sped through those. Go.
Do you mind if I just say on the header about the alternate location? 2 reasons. Obviously, last year, if you remember, it was great that we had that, but when I took Title 30A this year, they actually recommended that you have an alternate location on there, because once the warrant is posted for 7 days, we have to have town meetings. So if we had not listed ballot hall last year, we'd have been holding it in the parking lot of the school last year outside. So by at least listing that, if something happens again, we've got a roof over our heads, so.
And the cause for that's not either. It's still, they haven't done what they were supposed to do yet.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, good. Article 4, shall this municipality authorize the state to permit the sale of liquors for off-premises consumption on Sundays? That's right.
They have to be 2 separate, yeah, articles.
Any questions from the board? That's also a secret ballot. We'll have that already. All right, ordinances. This is you, Tim. Article 5, shall an ordinance entitled 2025 Amendments to the Town of Pownell Land Use and Zoning Ordinance, Section 100 General be enacted?
So these are all edits that the CEO has gone through. We do have exhibits. I'm sorry, I didn't get that printed for today. You've seen the first set of exhibits. He's expanded on this. So this is the language required by the attorney for any amendments that we have. So this section is just the general section at the beginning. Yep.
Any questions about that?
No, I've seen the edits.
Okay. Article 6, shall an ordinance entitled 2025 Amendments to the Town Pownell Land Use and Zoning Ordinance, Section 504, Zoning Districts be enacted?
This has quite a few edits in it. Most of the, do you want to do a quick summary?
Can you please, just so it'll be recorded in case, will your voice hold up? No. Well, then, do as much as you can, and then we'll just. We'll spare your phone. So this is Tim Giddings, Code Enforcement Officer at Town of Pownell. Devin, you could just come. That would help my voice. Sure. Okay. Starting at, starting right here, starting.
Yeah, I pulled the pages out of the
Okay.
ordinance, so.
So starting on page 6 of the Pownell Land Use Ordinance, Article G, no more than one principal building and its accessory buildings are regulated by this ordinance may be located on any one lot used as a residential lot, except in cases of a planned unit development of multiple dwelling units that meet all other applicable sections of the ordinance.
Explanation.
All right, remove G as to comply with state statute 4364B, accessory dwelling units. Okay, so we're just complying with,
That was the attorney's recommendation, is to remove the whole thing.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Section 2, 400 definition. Added definitions for single-family dwellings and two-family dwellings. So, everything that's done here has been Tim's work, so I'm not gonna say the CEO has suggested, so just know that that's, he's authored all of this. Under dwelling units, single-family dwelling, will be now defined as a dwelling unit for the use of one family. And two-family dwelling will be defined as a structure for the use of two families connected by a common wall. Any questions about the new definitions for dwelling unit? Makes it tighter. Going to be important under the new Affordable Housing Act, LD
2003.
Thank you. Any questions? The next one, section 504, zoning districts. Permitted uses. Section A2A, we've removed dwellings and accessory dwelling units and inserted single-family dwellings, two-family dwellings, and accessory dwelling units. The change brings the section into compliance with statute 4364B and brings clarity to the permitted uses. So the actual amendment will be under 504A2, dwellings and accessory dwelling units are eliminated in single-family dwellings, two-family dwellings, and accessory dwelling units, except mobile home parks. So it just uses the definition to clarify. Any questions? And it also eliminates G, which is two-family dwellings, because that becomes included in the permitted uses. Okay? Need to hold that further out. Okay. Good. All right, next is a 4BI. Will be on the next page. That states remove two-family dwellings from the 90,000 square foot requirement, remove 60,000 square feet for each additional unit, inserted an additional 60,000 square feet for a two-family dwelling or an additional single-family dwelling. Adds clarity as to how many family dwellings are allowed on a lot. The actual wording is single-family, 90,000 square feet for the first unit, an additional 60,000 square feet for a two-family dwelling or single-family dwelling. It eliminates 60,000 square feet for each additional unit. So it's just to clarify, to make that tighter. Questions? Next is on B. B, page 39. 2D is the same as A2, which just eliminates dwellings and accessory dwelling units and adds and clarifies to single-family dwellings, two-family dwellings, and accessory dwelling units. So it's just keeping it the same definition. Next one is B2G. B2G eliminates remove allowance of a mobile home park on parcel 9, lot 43. Development rights are now held in conservation easement with the Royal River Conservation Trust. So that removes G. The wording is mobile home park on the parcel identified as lot number 43 on town tax 9. And H removes two-family dwelling, is added to B2G. We've already added that. So H, two-family dwelling, is eliminated. Is there any? Good. Next item is B3. B3-1. Three.
3I.
3I, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It eliminates mobile home parks 30 AMRSA 435 from, as a special exception from rural district RA. That'll no longer, if this vote carries, be a special exception from rural district RA. So by enacting this kind of a de facto zoning will be, mobile home parks will be special exception in rural district B. Okay?
They won't be a special exception. In A.
But they will still be in B.
Okay.
Okay? Questions? Good. Next one is B4 AII. It's just, and remove the symbol and insert the word "or" for clarification. So the wording will now be two-family dwelling units and/or two single-family dwellings, 15,000 square feet. And that's under minimum lot area.
150,000,
What did I say?
15.
Sorry, 150,000 square feet. I'm sorry. Trying to do this too fast.
I know.
It never works. Next item is BI, which will be the same as A4BI, which just states single family and this is on page 41. Single family and two-family dwellings, 90,000 square feet for the first unit, an additional 60,000 square feet for a two-family dwelling or additional single-family dwelling. And it eliminates 60,000 square feet for each additional unit. So it's clarification. So the next is for the, okay. Next is C2A. C2A. That's on page 42, under Rural District B, permitted uses. The remove to comply with state statute 43582, regulation of manufactured housing. So we're eliminating lots south of Tuttle Road must have the required frontage on Tuttle Road, and only Tuttle Road may be used for access to the lot if a mobile home is placed on it. We can't say that anymore. We're not, hopefully. All right, next one is special C3, special exceptions under rural district RB. Special exemptions, what has been removed, these are the same as rural district A, insert the special exemptions from rural A, reinserted modal home parks. So here it is. So we've eliminated the wording, these are the same as rural district rural A, and now special exemptions in rural B will be fairgrounds, cemeteries, municipal uses and public utility installations, inns, bed and breakfast, medical and professional buildings and individual units subject to subsection 8, construction and floodplain design under section 13 of this ordinance amended 6/18/18, health facilities licensed by the Department of Health and Human Services, business and professional uses that they provided that they meet the following standards. Each use shall not cover more than 500 square feet of floor space. The design of the structure shall be compatible with a predominantly residential nature of the district. All parking should be located off-street, should not be located in the required front yard. Natural buffer of 75 feet shall be maintained as side and rear setbacks. Objectionable circumstances such as noise, vibration, smoke, dust, electrical disturbances, odors, heat, or glare shall not be produced beyond what is normally produced in a rural district. And so those are all, I'm sorry, those are all subsections of H, business and professional uses provided they meet the following standards. I will be mobile home parks under the 30A MRSA 4358. Any questions? Next is C4BI, same as A4BI, making rural B the same as village district and rural A. So 4I is just two-family dwelling and or single-family dwellings, 150,000 square feet, just eliminating the two. All right. C4IIIA, 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 C4. C4IIIA inserted family to make single-family dwellings match definitions. So on page 44, C4IIIA states single-family dwellings, two-family dwellings, accessory dwelling units, 300 feet. That's under street frontage. Questions? Next item is where we're going.
Right here, inserted asterisk 7.
Asterisk 7, asterisk 7, asterisk 7 on page 45. Thank you, Tim. States a backlot requires no street frontage. The lot that the backlot was created from requires 350 feet to 599 feet and allows 550 feet right away to the back lot. That just clarifies that kind of ambiguous. Tries to. Any questions about that? Good.
No, I think that's really a good addition to the backlot ordinance.
Backlots. Number 4, backlots. Under 4A, it's inserted, but not more than 599 feet. This clarifies that the amount of street frontage required to qualify for a backlot is from 350 to 599. Okay, and so it'll say, pursuant to the 2006 comprehensive plan to conserve rural land while preserving the flexibility of rural landowners to use their backlot land for compatible purposes, this ordinance allows for the creation out of existing lot that has at least 350, but not more than 599 feet of frontage on a publicly maintained road. One new single backlot, see Article 2 definitions, without frontage on a public road for the placement of, and we're eliminating one single-family dwelling to dwellings and accessory structures. So that's the next clarification. Then residential dwellings and accessory structures located on backlots created under this ordinance shall comport with a comprehensive plan of protecting existing designated conservation land, deeded trails, public easements, and strive to protect non-deeded traditional trails, snowmobile pathways. Okay? D1, administration. The changes in administration allow the code enforcement officer to administer the backlot ordinance on lots that have been divided only once through subdivision in the past. So it now states under, on page 60, under backlot D, lots recorded on subdivision plans of more than 2 lots filed in the Cumberland County Registry of Deeds, CCRDR reviewed by the planning board as a revised subdivision. So we're eliminating re-subdivision and making it revised subdivision as defined in figure 400.
Section 400.
What's that called?
It's section 400.
Section 400. The planning board shall review and administer backlot applications using the applicable regulations from this backlot ordinance in addition to applicable subdivision in the subdivision ordinance. The next one is D2, section 3. All little lots of record in the Cumberland County CCRD are reviewed by the code enforcement officer. In considering backlots under this provision, the CEO may act to approve, disapprove, or approve with variances as authorized by the Planning Pownell Board of Appeals. No municipal permit shall be issued nor construction work begun on any use or development covered by this ordinance as specified in section 3 until the backlot application has been approved and signed by the CEO. That's an addition, and signed by the CEO. Another addition, it shall be the applicant's responsibility to file the newly CEO-approved back lot in the Cumberland County Registry of Deeds. And, new addition, the town shall then be provided with the Cumberland County book and page filing numbers. Eliminated will be all work shall be carried out in accord with the documentation provided, approved by the CEO. And the addition is any backlot plan not so filed or recorded within 90 days of the date upon which such plan is approved and signed by the CEO as herein provided shall become null and void unless the particular circumstances of said applicant warrant CEO to grant an extension which shall not exceed 2 additional periods of 90 days. Next one. D2, 3. The changes in D2, D3, and G regulations clarify the process of administering the back lot ordinance. So upon completion of the application of section 6032, the CEO, this is an addition now, the CEO will file the original copy of the approved plan with the municipal officers to be kept with the town's records. Then all work should be carried out in accordance with the document approved by the CEO. And eliminated shall be, and 3, below and notation that the effect of the plan, CEO shall grant final approval and shall sign the plan. The applicant should be responsible for filing a copy of the plan with the municipal officer and having a copy recorded in the Cumberland County Registry of Deeds, and on and on and on. So the new administration will be the CEO will file the original copy of the approved plan with the municipal officer, be kept with the town records. Okay? That just makes that administration a lot clearer. Next, single lot ordinance. Single lot ordinance. A1, A2. Not quite sure where to find it.
I must have missed, I think I missed some of the
Yeah.
responses here on backlots.
Okay, so in the
Backlot G.
backlot G, number 3, backlots that are created must be 5 acres or larger, not including the right-of-way over the front lot. Front lot must retain the minimum size base lot not to include the right-of-way to the back lot. What's eliminated is the minimum lot size, 3 acres, not including the access easement over the front lot. Then G4, there shall be a right-of-way of 50 feet or more across the front lot as defined to the back lot, retained by the front lot but controlled by the back lot through means of a deeded easement. What's eliminated is at least a 50-foot right-of-way. That just clarifies the ownership of the right-of-way. Under Regulation 6, any driveway serving a back lot shall conform to Section 610. A driveway serving the back lot need not lie in the deeded right-of-way across the front lot, but the right-of-way must be able to support a driveway conforming to Section 610. A legal description recorded in the Registry of Deeds, the deeded right-of-way by meets and bounds shall be attached to any building permit application for construction on the back lot. The right-of-way shall be maintained by the back lot owner. Okay, the next part of the back lot. A back lot, number 7, a back lot is defined shall be allowed. A back lot is defined shall only be allowed single-family dwellings, two-family dwellings, accessory dwellings, and accessory structures. What's eliminated is one single-family dwelling and accessory structure. Okay, now single lot ordinance, administration. That's 605A and A2. This change allows the code enforcement officer to administer the single lot ordinance on lots that have been divided only once through subdivision on the past. So what happens is number 1, any single lot being divided from a lot recorded on a previous subdivision of more than 2 lots will be viewed and administered by the planning board as an amended subdivision. Number 2, any single lot being divided from an original lot of record or a lot from a previous subdivision of more than 2 lots will be reviewed by the code enforcement officer. What's eliminated there is not of. Okay? It just is changing who is administering what. Ease of use. All right, under accessory dwelling unit. This is page 97. D. Only one accessory dwelling unit is permitted per lot. That's eliminated to follow state statute 4364B. And what's written is proposed is the number of accessory dwelling units allowed on a lot will be as permitted by state statute. We're just dodging a bullet. All right, any questions for our losing his voice code enforcement officer? This is great. Really going to clarify if it passes.
Couple of comments on it. It has been, everything's been reviewed by the attorney, but he still takes issue with the single lot ordinance, and he wants to do a little research on that to make sure everything's legal.
Good. Okay,
And I haven't heard back.
that's fine. We've been following that for a while. We're okay. Thank you, Tim. Go home, get back.
I will.
I'm just assuming there were no questions for Tim. Very good work. Thank you. All right,
That takes us all the way to Article 12.
go through and agree that I've read 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yes.
Okay, praise the Lord. Capital improvement articles. Do you see Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $156,000 from capital projects fund. Becky,
That was the request from CAP, presented a couple of weeks ago. It's a standard article.
any questions from the board? Article 13, to see if the town will vote to transfer and appropriate up to $300,000 from the unassigned fund balance to the capital projects fund, right?
I have a question actually about that one. Last year, we didn't have up to because it was your intention as the board to move 300. So then when we did the up to, we had to have a secondary meeting and motion by the board. So do we want to remove up to? Do you want to discuss the total?
Well, we will need to So there's another request. We can't. The request from, have we determined how we're going to fund the request from the future facilities?
That's what you're going to talk about tonight when you get to that article.
So I recommend removing up to, so that we do it one and done. Andy, what's your thoughts about that? You have a more consideration about that.
They're good at this point, out 17 years. At the 17-year mark, then they have a little shortfall. I don't know if we want to hold off on this year. We're looking at another potential. I think they'd be okay with it.
So my only thought is that, and please weigh in, Kate, is that where will our undesignated fund balance be?
So we're at 2.4 right now. We have to keep 1 million in there, so that leaves 1.4 to work with. If we fund the 3 potential articles out of that, we are looking at $1.1 million. So that leaves us with 300,000 left in the unassigned fund.
So and the other 2 are the future facilities and,
The tax mill rate mitigation.
all right. So Kate, what's your thought about Article 13? If we fund all 3 warrant articles, that will put our undesignated fund balance probably as low as it's been for a while.
Correct.
Does it make sense to leave the language in there just in case?
In case of,
You mean,
If it's voted on by the town, then we have to do it.
this is not, we're not required to do this as a select board. This is something we've done to help the CAP spreadsheet sort of level out over the years, but if it's any.
I think it could wait probably 5-10 years out if we had to. Of course, prices go up every year, so there may be a shortfall sooner than 17 years. But I think we could hold off this year and we'd be fine.
You be okay with that, Kate?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's,
they did not ask, nor were they expecting this article too, so.
no, it was. Okay, so we will,
So does that mean the articles being struck from?
we are eliminating that article.
We are eliminating it.
Now Becky has to do all the renumbering.
That is correct.
Sorry, Becky.
13. I'm used to it.
All right, so Article 14, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $672,009 for general government. That is $106,779 for general government.
Sorry, I don't mean to, that's last year's. I haven't put the new breakdown in, but that is the budget committee's recommendation. So this one you're gonna want to discuss because the numbers have changed since the budget committee What I did was put their recommendations in as the header and then figured we would discuss them as we went.
Thank you. So what is included here that is going to be changed?
Let me pull up my department. All right, so the FY 26 general government would be 122,485.
Say that again.
Yep, 122,485.
What changes that?
That's mostly driven by the cost of like Trio going up and cost for IT services going up, the monitoring.
Okay,
Technology going up to 39,000.
okay,
Animal control actually is down to 2,960.
okay.
Planning board is up to 38,000. And then compensation as it stands right now is 501,982. So that gives it a total of 704,427. But you did want to talk about the stipend line.
Say that number again.
Sure, 704,427.
So I would like to amend that to include an additional $3,500 additions to the select board stipend.
I'll second that.
So it's been moved and seconded. Kate, do you have any discussion items on that?
No.
All right, all in favor? So that will have to be a note of clarification, because that's something that is not in keeping with the budget committee's recommendation.
So that will change the general government to 708,245.
Okay, any questions from the board? All right, Article 15, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $10,500 from human services, for human services. Compensation, 15. Ooh, okay, so.
Yeah, I haven't filled the bottom numbers in yet, sorry.
Okay, you want to let us in?
Get into back to the other sheet. The only difference is the Teenport Center is no longer around, so we're not funding that one, so that's the decrease.
So it'll just be minus $350.
Correct.
$12,000, that's.
Yep.
All right, questions? Article 16, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $44,700 for Mallet Hall.
That is down 4,200, mostly because of the painting line is lower next year. You have a question, Kathy? Turn your mic on.
I was just wondering about the bid that we're doing on the roof there.
That would be a separate article, so we have to
Which
talk.
one
about
is that one?
It's not in here. We're
Oh,
gonna have
okay.
to talk about
Okay,
that after,
great.
yes.
So that total article will be $40,500.
No, 44,700.
My mistake. Any questions? Next item, Article 17, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $233,815 for public safety.
Mostly driven by an EMS contract negotiations, payroll being up because the roster's being up.
And a pump refurbishment.
And the pump
on engine
refurbish.
too. Yeah.
The questions? Article 18, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,183, no cents for public works.
Have it in front of me. He has to do an engineer study. That's one of the bigger drivers, and compensation.
And our figures all in compensation, you've got his.
Yes.
Right. Questions from the board? Article 19, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $172,560 for solid waste.
So it's a 5% increase in the solid waste hauling per the contract, plus the EcoMaine tipping fees have increased, plus the tonnage that's going there has increased. So that's the change in that one.
Okay. Article 20, is any questions by the solid waste article? Article 20, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $5,700 for the Powell Center Water Association.
And that is driven by insurance costs and propane for the generator that we put in.
Any questions? No. Article 21, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $8,500 for cemeteries.
Mostly driven by wages now that they have a crew that's doing the work that was necessary, plus a little increase in the town expense for the cost of goods going up.
Questions? Article 22, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $262,341 for debt service and other obligations.
That's down 4%.
Anybody complaining? Article 22, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $500 for the Recreation Committee Enterprise Fund.
Same as last year.
Good. Questions? Article 24, to see if the town will raise to appropriate up to $500,000 for the Future Facilities Committee to contract with professional services to have an architectural design completed for the possible new fire station and/or public works building.
So this one has two things going on. The way it's written, I've written it from taxation. So this is, we will discuss if the unassigned fund value can be used. The other piece is the committee submitted, which you have a copy of their email, a worded article as well. The second part actually is probably a little more clearer than what I wrote, so I'm okay with making an amendment there. When I did go back and look at previous articles that we did for economic development for professional services, that did come from taxation.
And you have some information about use of the undesignated fund balance?
Well, I printed the policy, yeah, off for us to review.
I read through the entire undesignated fund policy. And where is it? Long-term capital investment objectives is in there, which this is definitely a long-term capital investment. Reducing short-term borrowing costs. We could bond it, but do we really want to? Cost us more in the long run.
Okay, so the only question for me is, can we do this? Can we take it from undesignated fund balance according to the undesignated fund balance? Policy?
To be certain, I'd want to ask the attorney based on the policy.
All right, so because either way, it doesn't matter. We just should do it in a way that we stay out of trouble, right? So why don't, with the board's permission, leave Article 24 alone, get a legal interpretation of whether or not we can take it out of undesignated fund balance. And if we can, then we'll change the wording of Article 24. That pass muster to you, Andy?
Yep, I'm fine with having the lawyer sign off on it.
It's just, a couple of these paragraphs are fairly ambiguous, and if someone's going to raise an objection to it in the town meeting, then we lose the opportunity to raise the money. So I want to make sure that there's an Esquire signature at the end of that.
I agree.
Okay? And the only thing that so there will be an exhibit
Mhm.
that will list.
That will
Potential.
outline the points and what it's for and potential costs, yes.
All right, Article 25, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $75,519 for the Economic Development and Sustainability Committee to contract with an engineering firm and consulting firm to continue the work charged to the committee.
That was their request.
We kicked that around, Andy. What's your thought?
To me, and I wasn't at their last meeting, I had another commitment. We were negotiating a EMS transport contract. It kind of puts the cart before the horse as far as an engineering firm to engineer a water system for the center of town. They haven't done any work on rezoning the village district. We don't know what we're gonna need for a water system, if we have a water system, before they rezone. That would be my
Right. So
take on it.
we talked about it. They wanted, there was some for the water, and what was the other?
To hire a consultant to help them with the rezoning. I-
So, I think that was $25,000.
Yeah.
I'd like to include that because I think that is really their mission.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out how to zone the village district in a way that's compatible with the comprehensive plan. So can we reduce this to $25,000?
I'm pulling up their 80,000 for civil and site design for water infrastructure, 20,000 for external consultant to support further town visioning, and they had 24 in their current budget. So that's why it was only 75 for the full request, but we can reduce that down to 20.
Yep,
Agree with that?
that makes sense to me.
You have those figures?
Yep.
So is that amount gonna be 20,000?
Article 25 will be raise and appropriate. Actually, should we say up to as well?
Up to 20?
Up to 20,000.
All right, Article 26, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $60,000 for the assessing and reevaluation reserve.
Okay, so the RFP's gone out twice. We haven't gotten any bids yet. I'm gonna try to send it directly to a couple of companies, but if we know we're gonna be having it, we should probably be considering putting money aside each year. So that's just a rough number I came up with.
Questions about that? We're gonna have to reval. Might as well start putting money away for it. Katie, you okay with that? Article 27, to see if the town will vote to accept and apply $741,100 for the following non-property tax revenues. I'm not gonna read them all, but that's just to,
I can give you, they're up 1% over last year. So it's still an increase.
all right. Business articles, Article 28, to see if the town will vote to appropriate up to from the dedicated impact fee, open space funds for surveying town land.
Are there any more that's coming? I haven't heard from the Conservation Commission that there's any more coming.
I haven't heard either, but
I think maybe we got them all done. Have we surveyed all the town-owned land that the Conservation Commission? Okay. Are they gonna have a recommendation for this year?
Don't think that we are.
Okay, so we could strike that article. Great.
Article 29, to see if the town will vote to transfer and appropriate up to $300,000 from the undesignated fund balance to minimize tax mill increase.
It's been our standard one for the last 3 years.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's leave that in. Article 30, to see if the town will vote to transfer and appropriate funds remaining in the Pownell Center Water Association, AKA BCWA, operating funds at the end of fiscal year 25, to the reserve fund.
Edit, that should say fiscal year 26.
Where is the sinking fund now?
It is, if you give me a second. At the end, as of June 30th, last year, it was 11,265 because we had to pull from it for the insurance cost in June.
And in the last 3 years, we've replaced all 3 pumps in there, so it's been,
Rough year of those.
yeah.
All right, Article 31, excuse me, to see if the town will vote to set September 15th, December 15th, 2025, March 15th, 2026, June 15th, 2000, dates for which 1/4 of taxes shall be due and payable and to charge interest at the rate of 7.5
That is what the state allows for the maximum.
per year, computed on daily basis on any portion of the installment date that remain outstanding. Questions? 2, to see if the town will permit the tax collector or the designee to waive unintentional tax increase payment shortages in an amount of not to exceed $5. And 3, see if the town will vote to authorize tax collector to accept payment of real estate property taxes not yet due. Standard wording. Article 32, to see if the town will vote to set 3.5% as the rate to be paid by the town on abated taxes.
Gotta ask, is that the state?
That's state requirement, yep.
Article 33, to see if the town will vote to authorize select board to transfer not more than 3% of the town budget's expenditures between budget line items within the individual department, provided that total budget expenses should not be increased. Standard. Article 34, see if the town will vote to authorize select board to transfer any unexpected funds to the carry forward accounts within departments, to complete projects from the previous fiscal year. Standard. Article 35, to see if the town will vote to authorize select board and town treasurer half of the town to accept any gifts, unanticipated donations, or pass-through funds that may be provided by individuals. Standard. Article 36, to see if the town will vote to authorize select board to seek, accept, first grant funds from private, county, state, federal agencies for the purpose so designated each grant. Standard. Article 37, see if the town will vote to allocate funds received from the registration of snowmobiles to the Rocky Coast Riders and Tri-Town Penguin Snowmobile Club for the purpose of maintaining their snowmobile trails, which are open to the general public without charge for snowmobile purposes and any other uses that may be authorized by property owner. Andy.
Article 36, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board, could we add or their designee in there? Because sometimes committees seek to get their own grants or departments.
They still have to bring it to the select board for approval.
Right, but we're not the ones doing the seeking.
See why you're trying to say.
Yeah.
You think?
I think or their designee just gives the latitude there.
Okay, you think so?
Right.
This doesn't exclude people from pursuing grants.
So there's one more article we'll need to add for the Mallet Hall dormers.
The
And,
dormers.
The RFPs are due in a week, but Kathy has an update on one submission at least that's gonna come in rough numbers, so.
Yeah, he'll submit the formal desk, but I talked to him today and it's looking like it's gonna be between 46,000 to 50,000 for those dormers. He's looking at either all wood or the vinyl replacement. He's thinking with the vinyl replacement windows, it's gonna be closer to the 46,000, but either way, it's really gonna be close in estimate for that work.
What do we have left?
There's not
Okay.
anywhere close to that amount in our.
No, what do we have left?
I
in
would
that?
have to figure out after the insulation project, and we still are paying out a couple other things. There might be maybe 10,000 left from the renovation, maybe a little less.
All right, well, let's put a warrant article in there for the dormer. Into business.
I'll know by at least the public hearing what the cost is gonna be, so.
Then we'll have to put another article be able to transfer any ARPA funds to that particular project.
I'll have a closer total by public hearing too.
There's nothing else that we can use that ARPA.
No, once we're done with the remaining project on the renovations, whatever's left over could be reallocated, so.
Any questions at all from the board about? When is our first public hearing?
April 14th. So that one starts at 5:30 with the Tuttle Road abandonment process. And then we'll move in at 6 to the land use ordinances and then the annual town meeting.
We should alert the planning board. They'd like to attend.
Have
Okay.
we notified abutters?
Yes, yep, the letters went out certified on March 10th, 11th, somewhere in there.
Any other town meeting? Do we need to vote to move this now, or do we wait?
I think it would be clean to just motion the draft warrant to move forward with the edits and then attorney review for the public hearing.
I'll move that we move forward the town warrant with edits and pending town attorney review.
Seconded, all in favor?
Right.
All right, so I see future facilities warrant article. We addressed that. in our
We did.
Yes.
We've addressed our select board budget recommendations.
Yes.
Crystal Hall.
Yeah.
Deputy
Our
clerk.
business.
Oh, great. I move that we appoint Crystal Hall to the position of deputy clerk to start April 1st, 2025. Term expires June 30th, 2025. I also move that we appoint Crystal Hall deputy treasurer for the same term. I also move that we appoint Crystal Hall deputy tax collector for the same term.
I'll second all motions.
Moving seconded, is there any discussion? Seeing none, welcome aboard, Crystal Hall. April 1st,
Next Tuesday.
She's just joking. April Fools.
sign those oaths, please. Next item is there any other new business?
I have a young lady here that would like to speak to us briefly about Cumberland County E EMA.
Come on forward, just say your name, or you could sit next to us with the mic on. Would rather sit down.
I'll sit next to you guys.
We don't bite.
Tell, as a recording, just say your name and address. Out there.
Yeah, my name is Brittany O'Neill. I live at 83 Elmwood Road.
Brittany?
So I'm also on the Pownell Fire Department, but my full-time job is with Cumberland County Emergency Management. And what CCEMA does, we're kind of the next step from your local police and fire department. So we come in when the big things happen, when our municipal resources are overwhelmed, and provide assistance, whether that's coordination, assisting with communication, providing resources like equipment and things, or finding resources, or assisting with incident management or whatever our local teams need. Our newest initiative is a community emergency response team. We noticed that there were a lot of people that come out when these big disasters happen. In our case, most of the time it's snowstorms, and want to help and want to create kind of a community around disaster preparedness. So that's what the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT, does. It's a volunteer team. We're looking to recruit everybody and anybody who's interested in disaster preparedness. There's kind of two sides to the coin. There's the disaster preparedness, learning new skills, gaining new information, and then there's the actual response side. So you go from the training to being, not just for disasters, but just for regular daily life and emergency preparedness in general. Then to joining up with an organized response group that's tied in with the local communities to help in disasters. And there's so many different things that this group could do. One of our biggest things probably are two heavy hitters that we just need a lot of people for that we don't have the capability with, just with our local emergency responders who are going to be doing other things during these times, or with other staff who are just, that's just not their role. So we're kind of looking at sheltering, and that includes warming centers. So we've had some communities that haven't been able to open warming centers or cooling centers because they don't have someone to staff. And that's what this group will be able to do, as well as regular overnight sheltering, which we don't do a lot in Maine. But there's going to come a time where we're going to need to shelter people, and that's what this group is around for. In addition to so many other little things, working events, just helping with safety there, and just generally being embedded in the community, knowing these skills and having these skills and sharing that with other people and getting other people involved in just being ready for things, especially in Pownell, living in a rural area. That's kind of what we're looking to do. So I've started outreach for the past couple weeks. We're having our first informational meetings this week and next week. Next Tuesday, April 1st, we're going to be in Cumberland, the Cumberland Fire Department. That'll be the closest one to here. But I've kind of divided the county into 3. So we're trying to do kind of regional teams at the county level, but are available to be called out as a response team to all of your local communities should the need arise.
Fantastic. Do you have any flyers with you?
I do.
You. So is there something that we can do as a town to help your recruitment? Yeah.
I was just thinking about our community day that's coming up on May 17th. That might, I don't know if you could be there and have a presence and promote this program. That might be a perfect place for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I was trying to go, I was actually out of town last year when it happened.
Okay.
I was with the agency, so I'll definitely, you should be able to make that this year and
May 17th. Yeah, that'd be great.
throw it on my calendar.
Great.
How would, oh, right here. Okay, so maybe we could, where would be an appropriate place? Would it be our website? Or
I'm not sure I can get into the constant contact this week, because I think that's going out, but we definitely get it in for next month. But what we might do is put this on the website and then do like a quick summary in the constant contact, directing people for more information on the website. And then if you have more, drop them up with me, because I can put them out in the lobby too.
Yeah, I think I have like 10 more in here. I'll give you some. I have a poster too, if you have space in the
Yeah,
lobby.
yeah, we can find
Yeah.
space.
We've done a whole social media outreach campaign on our social media. So
Mhm.
if the town is able to share that, that would be greatly appreciated.
Is that on Facebook?
Yeah.
So we could share it via the Facebook page, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
You have an email, Brittany, that you could give?
Yes, I can give you guys, I have some business cards.
Oh, that'd be great. Love that.
And then the CERT email also goes to me as well.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
You.
Thank you, Brett.
All right, is there any other new business?
I have none.
Is there any old business? The bathroom we could fix.
Our CEO did it last week, I think.
Whole business, just wanted to ask about, were you able to chat with the 5th grade teacher about, recycling and,
Hands of. And great teacher, she is ready to go on it. So
great,
Very excited.
great, perfect.
That was the solid waste committee is going to involve the fifth grade at Pownell Elementary. A recycling education program.
For Community Day. Yeah,
Community Day.
great.
And if their response is anything like their brown-tailed moth,
It'll be great.
that's great. We have any correspondence? Becky?
Just one thing, I found out today that this is the last week that the forecaster is going to have a printed edition. It's going digital. So I'm gonna have to find a new newspaper to do public ads. So we're good for the next public hearing because she's placing it in this week, but I won't have any in the lobby anymore for everyone. They have just made the decision that it's too costly to continue with the print forms.
How am I gonna light my wood stove?
I know. So we'll probably have to consider the Times Record as possibly the closest newspaper, because statute still requires me to put it in a printed paper, a public hearing notice, so anyway, that was my correspondence.
Any other correspondence? Is there any other business?
I have none.
Being none, I'll end motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Seconded, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you for coming out.